Today's video is all about Nyan Heroes. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, looking into some of the fundamentals such as the team, the tokenomics, the utility, and the overall value proposition, trying to figure out whether this project has what it takes to make it to our portfolio. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. And of course, today the question is Nyan an opportunity? Guys, we see a lot of good gaming projects in the last little while, but they have yet to take off, and I'm curious if we should be scaling in here on this project. You know, the project has a lot of potential, no doubt. It's a new project. The fundamentals suggest that, you know, there is some strength. And of course, today we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to take a look at all the fundamentals that is readily available to us on the website as the main platform, on the white paper as the main documentation provided by the team. And of course, we're going to be taking a perspective or a lens from a retail perspective lens. That's exactly what we're going to be doing today, because ultimately, as we enter this space, as newcomers enter this space, as we look for speculative, you know, assets and projects, we want to make sure that, you know, everything is aligned accordingly in preparation for another move to the upside. Guys, I know the market in the last little while has been giving us you know, a bit of an opportunity to buy dips and so on. So this is why the question is today, is Nyan an opportunity? All right, guys, let's continue. Let's see what's going on here with this main website. The first landing, you know, the landing page is great. Lots of good graphics, visuals. You get an idea of what this game is about. It does give me an indication, you know, that there are other games that are very similar, not exactly, but similar feel. This looks very high tech and very interesting, particularly with the fact that it's themed based on the cat. Okay, on cats. You know that crypto in general, you know, next to dogs, we do have the cat narrative, you know, especially in the meme coin culture. And ultimately, you know, a lot of us, you know, do, you know, basically find that these narratives, especially the meme coin narratives, do produce a lot of hype and interest within the community. So maybe this is a good thing. You know, we have cats with guns, we have cats with explosives, we have cats with cool graphics, we have, you know, a lot of good stuff here. So maybe something that we should be looking into in more detail. Now, we do see that it's available on Steam and Epic Games, one of the, you know, some of the major platforms out there for PC gaming, which is great. And as we keep on going down, we do see, you know, a well-built website. In general, we see blog posts, you know, covering the major ideas that they may have. Open pre-alpha play test 3 introduces, okay, Nyan Heroes announcing the Nyan token listing, okay, on Bybit. And then we have Nyan Heroes partners with Premier and many others. They have good relationships, guys, but you know that I'm going to focus on the strategic partnerships. Relationships are great, but you know, we have to understand that relationships come in different categories. You know, for example, they do have a relationship with Bybit, but being listed on Bybit is not a strategic partnership. Okay, it is good for liquidity, it's good for trading, it's good for giving access to the retail investor. Obviously, these are great things, but from a strategic point of view, even from a tech point of view, I want to see what exactly they have going on, what they have cooking in the background, and I'm hoping that I can find some great info there. Now, the Guardian Heroes, this is what they look like. You know, they're very robotic, but at the same time, you know, a soft, cuddly interior of being a cat, and an exterior that is rough and, you know, robotic and awesome. In that way, it definitely is appealing. So it's a team-based hero shooter where cats pilot giant mechanics, right? And this is awesome. I think it's a great idea. I think the value proposition from a theme perspective is definitely there. You can read more about it. Like, this is one of the characters, Seraph, the Spartan, and you keep going on, and you can see, look, we got another Spartan, Atlas Blitz, okay, and then you go on and you can see a little bit what they're all about, and all these different characters that are available in the game, obviously with different characteristics and abilities and so on. Okay, so let's move on. That's pretty cool. And then you got a little other characters, other in-game characteristics or assets here. You can see this is the weaponry. You got a lot of different weapons. Obviously, they're going to be very creative and engaging and so on. And these dudes right here, Mysterious Mercenary and Assassin Shadow Thrives, proving his superiority. So you got a lot of little cats here. These are your cat figures. Okay, so cool stuff. Ultimately, you know, we expected in-game assets, we expect good graphics, we expect, you know, engagement, which we so far we cover it very, very well here in the project. Now, if we keep on going down, we see that we have team-based domination, cat and mech mobility, heroic versatility, loadout customization. So there's a bit of everything if you want to go and do a bit of reading. I think this website's well built, very nice, very clean, very engaging, and so on. And as we keep on going down, we get some more graphics. Become a hero in a battle dome. Okay, so maybe some sort of game mode. Latest videos, video not available, unfortunately, but there should be other videos to take a look at on YouTube and so on if you want to see some of the gameplay. Obviously, getting involved in the game is the best way to experience. Fight alongside your team in electrifying mechanic or mech combat. Interesting, more game modes, I guess. Cats pilot mechanics to save the world. Interesting, maybe this is a story mode type of scenario, at least giving you a bit of a a context. We rescue cats. Okay, a little bit interesting of a conversation. So up until now, we've been talking about the game, the gameplay, and that was a good, scrape of what it's about. I think we can all piece that together on what the gameplay could feel like. Obviously, playing in itself is not a replacement, just looking at it from a theoretical perspective, but I think we can get enough from that. Now, if you look at what we got here, this is a concept that, we've seen before here in the crypto space. There was an era of which a lot of crypto projects came out with these, these ideas of, giving back to communities or giving back to, various projects, whether it be, saving, different animals or rescuing different animals or giving back to some humanitarian causes and things like this. And the reality is this idea is not new, and this idea, in fact, was very frowned upon in the past because, look, I'm going to say it as it is. I'm not saying that this is what Nyan is doing. I'm just saying that if you're coming from a historical perspective, I think that this might not sit well, given the fact that we've seen lots of scams in the past trying to do this type of thing and lure people in based on this, philanthropy and type of thing. So ultimately, I think that this is a good thing. I think this is a decent way to, keep full circle with the theme, and I appreciate the effort here. We rescue cats. Joining the adventure goes beyond the thrill of the game, which I appreciate. Of course, we're talking about cats, so they're trying to bring it full circle. It also makes a meaningful impact. Each download triggers a contribution to a global cat charity, supporting cat welfare and basically one game at a time. Basically, it is raising capital, raising funds to help cats. Okay, this is a good thing. Ultimately, is if we can have the transparency as to how these tokens are being distributed to the cats, I think that this could be a value for some individuals that want to put some care into this narrative. Now, again, historically speaking, this didn't leave a very good note, but I feel like the future is bright, especially if we can see some responsible distribution. I'm going to move on from that point. Let me know what you guys think about that. Is it time to, give some space for this type of, raising of capital for good deeds? I think good deeds are always great. It's definitely a good thing. We keep on going down. We see join the community. Of course, they got, their various communities. They got the X. It's a must. A Discord, and my opinion, it's a must. The Discord is pretty good. You get some action in there. It's well organized and so on. They rely on their Discord for quite a bit, and we'll talk about that in a second. And they got a Medium blog and various socials, TikTok, and they also have a Telegram. And I'm surprised it's not here, but There's not much happening there either. Their socials are interesting, and we'll talk about the socials. I give it a bit of a segment on the socials. Let's just keep that simmering for a second here. Join the newsletter if you want to know more, and they got the rating and some other links if you want to go and look at what's going on here. If you're a developer, if you're looking for a new career, airdrops, different things, and of course their socials once again. So the website is fairly good. And then if you start moving to the top of here, you got different things regarding the project or the game itself. You got news, careers, and 9 lives. This is where things get a bit interesting because the story, and then you got the team and the partners. We're going to take a look at the team and the partners, and I'm looking for white papers. Where can I see that? I don't see any I was able to find the white paper, but I don't know if I found it right here on the website. Is it right here somewhere? It could be right here, white paper. There you go. So look, the white paper is well built. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so this is a typical white paper. I'm happy to see that it's on Gitbook. I appreciate Gitbook. It should be treated as a working document. It should never end. It should always be evolving. And this is the benefits behind a Gitbook, right? It's not a PDF that is carved in stone and it takes so much to get things happening and updated. So this is why we expect that. Last updated June 2024. Okay, so it's a bit of a time away, given the fact that we are in a very critical moment in this market. I think that a bit of an update now would be ideal, given that fresh liquidity is entering the market, and we got to make sure all of this is all up to date. So why not get your marketing communications person up here and cranking out some new content or updating or revising or whatever the case may be. Okay, so that's important. But we're gonna go by the latest documentation, which is this right here. And if we scroll down, you can see that there's the same type of information, introduction to the game that we've already experienced on the website. So this is awesome. Let's go down to the vision. The vision, again, a little bit more. We get it. It's going to be a shooter. It's going to be great. Unreal Engine, great graphics, AAA, real world impact by saving cats. This is all good stuff. Again, their passion and love for gaming and cats is definitely represented. Let's put it that way. The setting, again, a bit more of the story. You can get involved, basically in the graphical representation of the setting and so on. All good stuff here. It's a big part of the game. Again, feel free to go through this and read through it and so on. But what interests me more, obviously, is how does this project represent Web3 and crypto and blockchain gaming? That's where I'm quickly getting to. Obviously, this is important, but we kind of touched upon the theme and all that. Mechanics, maps, these are all in-game or gaming attributes. We can discuss the quality of the game. In fact, I wouldn't even be doing that at this current moment. This game is new, right? So it's obviously its mechanics and its maps are going to improve and so on as updates and so on come around. So I want to get right into where it matters as a Web3 speculative asset. You have the different classes of guardians, again, different categories and so on. And this should start sparking, the fact that, we're going to have NFTs, in-game assets, and true NFTs, not just JPEGs, NFTs that have utility, in-game purchasing of NFTs and ability to use these NFTs as assets within the game itself. So there's got to be a marketplace. And of course, that's something that we're going to look into. Future features. Okay, I like this, that they're talking about the future. Now, given the fact that this has been updated in June, it could be slightly outdated. Maybe some of this stuff is already out there. This is something to understand. But as you know, I'm quickly trying to get into where we're at today and what the scheme is here to actually get involved. And the scheme is quite simple. And the thing is that it wraps around NFTs, and this is typical in the gaming narrative, right? You get NFTs as an asset, right? And as an asset holder, you get privileges, and you can see that you got Nyan Heroes Pass, which is the Genesis and the Genesis Guardian NFT. So you got two categories of NFTs, and these two categories give you a certain amount of benefits. Okay, so it's all stems here. And believe it or not, a lot of games start at this level as NFTs. Access to the DAO, community-based DAO initiative focused on growing the ecosystem. I appreciate the ecosystem growth emphasis. That for me is a big thing, because obviously when you're small, you need ecosystem growth to give the token some utility and value. Okay, this is important. We can't be stagnant on that front. So first point on the list for me, that's a good one. A limited edition, unique. Okay, the right to create your own Genesis origin story. Interesting. Exclusive access to certain merchandise, apparel, physical toys and collectibles. Okay, that's good. It's a good way to, get people hyped up. And staking. By staking your Genesis NFTs to participate in missions, you will get access to certain rewards like catnip. Catnip is the in-game currency of the game itself. It's not Nyan's. Okay, so we just got to be really clear about that. There's two currencies, one which is blockchain based, one which is not. Catnip is a non-blockchain based in-game currency, and they do this strategically in order to keep the in-game currency stable. Okay, the last thing you want is to be playing the game and to see that your in-game currency to fluctuate as much as these low cap projects do, right? So they have their own in-game currency called catnip. Okay, so look into that. Now, it's a way to participate in their token economy, early access to beta tests, and land pre-sales and so on. So this, again, back into the NFT metaverse type of scenario. Now, what you have to understand is the DAO. Okay, I want to spend some time here on the DAO for a second, if I can, because they kind of get into the benefits of the DAO. The ability to make proposals to the game studio, which is typical, participates in ecosystem growth, okay, and access to in-game items such as characters and so on. DAO Alpha Hunters provide access to mobile whitelist, okay. Genesis Nyan will come in various rarities, okay. These are the rarities for the NFTs, and you can see what these look like. Now, the DAO concept of this project is very confusing. And confusing to the point that it seems risky and ambiguous. Whenever there's ambiguity, risk gets introduced. So it's either they need to repackage their communication on what this DAO is and how it actually takes place into this ecosystem and how it's going to be implemented. Okay, so let me just stop here and focus on the DAO. Now, I'm going to get back to tokenomics and all of that, but I'm going to go forward and look at where they speak about the DAO. Is it here, token supply? I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing at the right time. Hold on, guys. Give me a moment. I know. So you have concepts of the DAO within game activities. So this is good. This is good. And they do really emphasize the fact that the governance and that they're not a security. They emphasize this significantly, right? So we are not intended to constitute securities in any relevant jurisdiction. This is important, okay? Now, if we start looking at the utility of the coin, we start looking at a decentralized community governance, okay? So this is important because I'm jumping around a little bit here, but I'm trying to focus just on the DAO aspect. Now, we know that DAOs are supposed to decentralize authority, and this is what they're trying to say here by saying it's not a security because we are a DAO that decentralizes the authority, which is totally fine and it's expected. And we like this, right? But then we go on and say decentralized community governments allows holders to propose feedback on future features and upgrades of Nyan Heroes. This right is restricted solely to features of Nyan Heroes, not on the operation and management of the company. Okay, this is where I start to say, what are you talking about? Like, what does this mean? Now, a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, by definition means that the organization itself, whether you call it a company or not, it needs to be kind of behind the DAO. Its decision making, how it distributes tokens, what it does as an organization. It's even its team members, who's handling the marketing, who's handling the budget, who's handling this. This should be technically, if you're looking for a decentralized autonomous organization, it's not just suggestions in future and feedback. That's not what a DAO is meant for. So this leaves me a little bit concerned about how they are defining their DAO. It seems like it's just like a just a layer on top that maybe they don't want to release too much control here. It could be the case. Again, not enough information here on how this DAO is being implemented either, because reality is there's no infrastructure for the DAO. I don't don't see it anywhere on the website. And in addition to that, they are currently relying on the Discord to manage their DAO. So if you are a holder, you go join the Discord and you apply and you get access to a channel on their server that only DAO holders or DAO members can get access to. I've never seen an implementation purely on Discord, a DAO purely on Discord like that, guys. It's very early stages. It could be the first round of how they're going to be implementing the DAO, all of that, but I wouldn't even classify this as a DAO at the current moment, given that their disclaimer here is suggesting that there's a lot of the organization that you won't be able to vote on. Guys, that's not what a DAO is. My personal opinion, guys. Obviously, do your own research. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But these are the things that I like looking at, because this is where ambiguity hits the research, and when ambiguity hits, it's the responsibility of the team to provide that clarity. And as of now, I don't see them willing to put their organization in a democratic through the democratic process, which is what a DAO is. Okay, so let's move on. Let's leave it at that. I don't want to dig too deep on there. You do your own research and continue on from there. We're going to go on to the tokenomics. Let's see. We got Catnip, which is the in-game premium currency. It's a premium currency used to purchase in-game items, earn rewards, and play the game, which is good. So what they try to do is, it's not an on-chain token, but instead it's a virtual game currency. It does, however, have a fixed value, which is directly redeemable through the studio. So you can go in there and redeem and swap and so on. But they try to keep it stable so that the game play is, obviously, we want some stability there. So interesting. So you can purchase this, purchase that, marketplace purchases and trading, fast unlocking of characters, gears, and so on. So there's a lot of good benefits of holding Catnips, but just remember, it's not a blockchain currency whatsoever. It's a typical gaming currency. So again, we're trying to figure out how Web3 is being implemented here. And so far as, as I can see, the Nyan token is just a currency at this current moment. Okay, so we're going to take a look at its utility going forward, because decentralization right now is important, and as far as the DAO goes, that's the limitation there. And now what about everything else? So let's keep on going. A marketplace is interesting. So you got a decentralized marketplace where people can connect their wallet and swap their in-game assets. That's great. This is what we want to see in gaming marketplaces and gaming, infrastructures, so to speak. So basically, using Catnip, players will be able to buy, sell items through open marketplace in the form of trading. So you're trading now using Catnip. Now, of course, you could swap your Nyan tokens for Catnips and all this kind of stuff, and there's a distinction. So we got to make sure. Right now they're focusing a lot on the Catnips, which could bring a level of ambiguity here as well. So just understand that the in-game currency is Catnip, and you are using those currencies to get your hands on some of these materials, okay, whether it be consumables, buildings, decorative items, and obviously Nyans themselves. Okay, so interesting stuff. So we're slowly getting into the tokenomics of things. Okay, so in order to create a revolutionary AAA game title that leverage the benefits of blockchain, we must also create a AAA in-game economy. Okay, this is where we're going to be very critical, because when you're talking about a new project, when there's VCs involved, okay, and there are VCs involved here, and there's not a lot of circulating supply, obviously expected. It's a new project. We have to understand that tokenomics is the pressure right now. It is the issue. Support secure real-time transaction in the game. Empower players to have full ownership and control of their digital goods. These are all great things, guys. Protect the in-game economy and players from volatile market speculation. Create real revenue opportunities for gamers. So in-game play and being able to buy and sell assets and earn and things like that. Fairly rewarding and incentivize players based on their actual contributions to the ecosystem. Be environmentally conscious and sustainable. Good stuff. Okay, very nice, statements there. A goal is to provide rich gaming experience. Solana was their chosen base layer. Obviously, we know why. It's fast, cheap transactions, and so on and so forth. So good on them right now. Now let's get into more of this tokenomics stuff. Now the disclaimer, again, the disclaimer is hinged upon the fact that they're not a security. Okay, this is so important. They drive this many times, and in order for Nyan not to be a security, it needs to be completely decentralized through the authority. And the authority, how they decentralize the token, should be through the DAO. And again, I know I'm repeating a little bit, but now it's coming full circle. As a native utility token, Nyan is utilized for a number of game functions that serve to increase its demand. Okay, so they want it to be a decentralized thing. Now they have marketplace transaction fees, which is one of the main characteristics. Obviously, spending it as a currency in order to unlock NFT gated and rewards and pathways and certain things like that within the game. Rental fees for in-game assets, competition entries if you want to enter competitions, and so on. Players may lock their tokens in order to receive special access privileges and rewards. These are all very typical game, like let's say utility and value propositions by holding, right? Again, back to the decentralized governance. This should be one of the utilities of the token. If you're a holder, you should be a part of the governance. But again, there's that ambiguity. If you're an NFT holder, you're part of the governance. If you're a Nyan holder, you're part of the governance, but you're limited to what that governance actually provides. And it doesn't, according to this, you're not able to get at the management level, the organizational level. And that's ambiguous to me. Well, how is that the case? How is this a DAO if you're not able to get there? So coming full circle, we'll end that concept right now. With the increase in the network activity and marketplace transactions, there would be a greater demand for Nyan, obviously. And not only that, I would assume, and I would prefer for them to have obviously ambitions further than that, because those are very typical. More utility we get out of the token, and especially innovative utility, we could definitely provide more demand, and that's where obviously an increase in price, and that's what we're hoping for. So yes, very true. And let's keep on cranking out some new developments so that we can bring more hype into the token. Nyan would also be distributed to support builders. Okay, ecosystem growth. We want ecosystem growth. Again, back to that. Ecosystem means more utility, more it means more demand, obviously, and so on, and then price goes up. And this is a very important concept, token utility, that stems from ecosystem growth. Okay, so good stuff. So far, very typical, very understood. Look over this graphic. You can see how everything kind of, flows from gameplay, and that's usually what we want to see within a game, whereas the gameplay is the major feature. But then again, we have to justify this as a Web3 project. Now, from a tokenomics perspective, they got a nice little pie chart here showing us the distribution. And I want to quickly just kind of look at early investors, the team and advisor, the strategic investors, and the MMM, and the liquidity that is provided to exchanges or any other. That represents approximately half. Okay, that's significant. Now, and I appreciate the fact that they even made it that different color this way, because it is the dark spot of the distribution. Because the reality is these individuals are early stakeholders. They're going to sell on the market. The reality is everybody in this category right here are the ones that we need, that we have to be worried about when it becomes time to sell. These are usually the individuals that are going to sell the fastest and the hardest. Okay, now again, the team and so on, yeah, they may not, but everybody's got to eat, guys, and we've seen this many times. The team and advisors at the end of the day are all going to take profits at the top of the bull run. We'll see a lot of these projects come down 90% from their top, but the question is when is their top, and what is their top? It could be a much higher than what it is right now. The thing is that we have to understand that as tokens get unlocked in the next little while, the majority of them are going to start getting into these individuals as well, where they're going to want to take profit. So the positive side of this is the other half, where a good portion of it is going to the ecosystem. Again, that growth that I want to see in Nyan. Nyan needs to provide that utility. Then we have the community incentives. Obviously, that's even more important in a way, because with a massive or strong ecosystem without community, who's going to use it? Who's going to enjoy it? What's the incentive of getting involved in that ecosystem? So it's almost like having two players. There's two teams, this side of the team and this side of the team. And the reality is there's going to be right now it seems like the entire crypto space is on the same team because we're in a bull run and we're doing pretty good here in this market. We're waiting for the gaming narrative to wake up. But as soon as the gaming narrative or the crypto space looks a bit frothy up there and we start to see profit taking, it's going to be a battle between these two categories, right? The retail market falls a lot within this. The ecosystem, the devs and everybody that, are emotionally invested because they worked hard to build and build and build. And then you have the individuals like early investors that just put capital and that are VCs that just want a return on their investment. And team and advisors, unfortunately, they're in a very similar boat. But ultimately, they need to eat, and we got to understand that. And strategic investors is the same thing as VCs, and liquidity holders. We know that exchanges sometimes they trade against their own holdings, and this is normal, and it's only 3%, so it's not a big deal. So this is what I want to really stress, is that this distribution is scary. However, guys, I have to say however, because there is a vesting schedule, and we'll get into that right now. Now, with a lot of this, these tokens are going to be locked up to various categories, and you can look at it all in here, very clearly defined, the lock schedule, the distribution, how it's going to be emitted into the marketplace slowly and steadily over the next little while. And of course, I'm not going to go through all these details. They're all here on the white papers. You can go through them all. What I'm going to instead is show you a visual, and this visual right here on Crypto Rank is pretty decent because it shows you exactly when these unlocks are going to start to happen. The majority of them are going to happen during starting in May. So there's some time where we're not going to see that pressure. However, as soon as this happens, we're going to see the early contributors, the team members, and the strategic contributors, pretty much start getting their tokens unlocked bit by bit over time. And that's a bit of dilution pressure that we could see in the next little while, given the fact that in May, maybe leading into, the next winter, maybe even fall, we should see the market cool off and maybe start getting into a bear market. And you could expect that a lot of people around this level, when we get to that time frame, we could see some sell-off, major sell-off, because again, these strategic investors, early contributors, they're going to want to take profit. Okay, they're going to want to take profit. So right now, all we have is the liquidity that was, provided to exchanges and so on. This is part of the cost of doing business, and that's about it, guys. So just keep in mind that there are going to be unlocks, and little by little, we're going to be seeing them come around, and bit by bit, that's what we're going to see. We have one round in May, and then another round May 28th, in June, and so on, in June again, and so on and so forth. And I would say by around, let's say August, September, October, right around here, we're going to have a bit of capital already into the market. October, maybe even up until November, we might still see the peak of the bull run. And obviously, guys, I don't have a crystal ball to tell you exactly when that's going to happen, but I'm curious to see how everything looks around this level when we have more tokens unlocked. Okay, so again, it's about just tracking this. Current circulating supply is very little. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a second, but let's continue moving on. Okay, that's about tokenomics. Let's talk about the heroes. The heroes, the main contributors. We got the chief, we got the developer, the development director, and then we have the design director. I guess these are the head guys, core team members, right? And I did a bit of research into them, and we have the advisors, which we got some influencers, not very valuable there for me. Founder, that's pretty good. The Twitch co-founder, Riot Games, obviously they're great, but they're advisors. So what does that mean exactly? Like, why aren't they part of the team? Why are they just advisors? Now, if you look at the team themselves, which this title leads me to believe they could just be maybe backers of some sort. I don't know what their complete involvement is, but at least it's nice to see that there are some heavyweights there. Now let's quickly look at who they are. Okay, so I did go on to LinkedIn and kind of look through their LinkedIn account. The dude seems very, very smart and has a really good history in medical field. Like it looks like that's where he started. He's a surgeon, guys. This guy's a surgeon. He's very intelligent, very capable. But then I start to look through his resume, and I start to look at like how does he slowly transition into gaming, and especially in the Web3 space. And I don't see the easy transition. The only thing that I do see is COO of creative director of Up. and I start looking into up, and I don't see how this is really gaming. Perhaps, like, I see a lot of, you know, tech. I see a lot of director of media and you know, marketing strategy and that kind of stuff. Where is the gaming? How do you move from being a surgeon, right, at a hospital, and then going straight into, you know, becoming a full-time AAA game, you know, developer, founder, and so on? I don't see that transition, and because of that, unfortunately, I'm going to say yes. He's definitely passionate builder, solving meaningful problems in Web3. But how does that happen? How do you become that individual from a surgeon to a gamer? I would like to know. Like, this is something that everybody would like to know. Now, I'm not holding it against them. It's just, this would be a valuable thing to put forward, given his, you know, his title and his description here. It has a lot to do with, you know, being a surgeon and being the youngest surgeon and so on, which is probably his greatest accomplishment. But then he talks about, you know, the Google things, the COO of you know, Unicorn Pop, and collaborated with these companies is good, and then right into here, and you know, a little bit of ambiguity. So I'm not going to spend too much time there. You know, he seems like a decent individual, very intelligent, very capable, good career so far. But let's see what else we got here. Let's go back to the previous slide we got here. We have John Walsh. Now, I believe that this dude right here is the gamer of the group, right? So he's been in the gaming space and in this field for a good while, doing various things like flight simulation with Microsoft, studio head at Newcastle Fly Studio, and so on. So senior game producer. So this is the gamer dude. Okay, this is the guy that's been passionate about gaming, and which is great. And then I'm still questioning where's Web3. But however, we do need individuals talent like this and seasoned talent, which is great. But where's the Web3? Now, we could have some Web3 obviously, but we can see PlayStation, you know, mobile formats and all of that. Bullish, good stuff. And we keep on going. We got the actual landing page, and we start looking at their entire team. It's a well-established team. There's a lot. Marketing, we got presidents, we got community managers, game dev, full stack developers, senior producer. Okay, we got lots of stuff here. Online gamer at, okay, sure, she's an online gamer. Concept artist, senior character artist, lots of good stuff. Every type of talent that you would need for a you know, a Web3 game. Software engineer, we got engineers, they got lots of stuff. So I see a very young team. I see a very you know, a well-established team. A bit of ambiguity, but still pretty decent. And of course, this is where we get into speculative assets. We look at the team is decent. They have some strength. Let's see where they go with things. And obviously, based on that speculation, we gain some exposure. So not too bad here. I appreciate them. I appreciate them. So let's move on. We got the investors, and as you go through the investors here on the website, you do see a lot of, you know, VC. And whenever you see the word capital, and obviously Delphi Digital capital, and you can capital, like, you know, obviously Jump, and there's a Solana capital, and there's a lot of capital. Whenever you see these capitals, you start to think about how much capital they actually were able to raise. Now, is this a positive thing? This is a whole conversation, guys. This is a whole we've seen a shift from, you know, fair launch to non-fair launch, and back and forth, and arguing what's better. You know, ultimately, there's benefits in both scenarios. We need VCs in order to provide capital. We need fuel to get these projects going. And I believe that they were able to raise enough fuel. Now, if you go into Coinmetrics, sometimes we go to fundraising, and you could probably get a good amount of information in the fundraising section here on CryptoRank, and you can see that launch pool, it raised capital, strategic partners right into here, lots of VCs, more capital, every ventures. These are all VCs. Whenever you see the words ventures and capitals in their labels, guys, this expect they're just raising all kinds of money. You know, a few $1 million here and there. I can see, you know, at least, you know, about $13 million. Could be more. It could be more. Maybe this is not up to date. Who knows? Ultimately, what we have to understand is this is what we're worried about. These individuals right here cause issues for the price in the longer run or in the short term, because in the short term, these are the ones that are going to want that return on their investment. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so they're necessary. They're a necessary cost of doing business. The reason being is they have the capital to make things happen. Okay, guys. So this is very important. So they got good relationships with VCs. Now they got some partners. Now again, I'm going to be very critical of these partners. Razer, I don't know how they're a partner. Maybe they provide some tech for giveaways and things like that. Epic Games, for me, that's not a partner. That's just a platform where they're listed on, where you can download the game. I understand that it might sound like a partnership, but they're not. It's not a strategic one. Superverse, I'm almost guaranteed that's not a strategic partnership. And you can keep on going on. You know, there's a lot of logos, and these logos are what bother me. A Chainlink, it's not a partnership, in my opinion. That's just an oracle that they probably maybe use for data feed. And again, what type of data feed? I'm curious. I'm not sure. But the reality is that a lot of these, in my opinion, could be classified as some sort of relationship, but not partners. Okay, so I would like to know what kind of partners, and if they were confident about the partners, if you would click on them, they should give you some information about what type of strategic partnership relationship they have. And a lot of the times it's just logos. So I'm going to move on, guys. It's not a good look when you just have a bunch of logos and you start seeing chains and different things and other yeah, no thank you. Anyways, let's move on. Nyan Heroes is developed by a team with a strong track record building large fan bases. Okay, fan bases, maybe you know, from a social perspective, it could be definitely the case where they got that on lockdown. Okay, and we'll talk about the socials in a second. We're going to slowly transition into that by looking at their Medium page. You know, you got some posts, and as you go, you start looking around. You got the launch of Nyan DAO, and there's a little bit of information here, but just the beginning. In February, this was posted in February 2022, and they still don't really have a formal DAO platform, which, you know, in my opinion, it should be the case. Now, if we keep on going through this and going through Nyan Heroes and going to their main page here, you can see May 24th, this was pinned. October 4th, this was probably their last post. August 9th, so they're not very frequent here in their posting. They have a good amount of followers, 84,000 followers, with a few posts here and there, which is not bad. May 7th, June, August, and October. So a bit more frequency would be good. Obviously, that's either based on the fact that they'll have nothing to talk about, which is not a good thing, right? Or maybe they're just neglecting the Medium account, which is also not a good thing. So regardless, this is what I say from a social perspective. If you're going to commit to a platform, you better commit, because it's going to look bad either way if you do not post or engage frequently. Either way, it's going to look bad. Okay, so let's move on from that. Now, if you look at their major X page, they got a lot of followers, guys. No, congrats to them. That's pretty good for their size, right? We're talking about 677,000 followers. And you start scrolling down and you look at, they have 200 likes with that many followers, 300 likes with that many followers, and 122 likes with that many followers, and 81 likes with that many followers. You get, I don't know if you get where I'm going with that. With that amount of followers, they should have a lot more likes, in my opinion. And I started looking at their metrics. Obviously, guys, I'm not going to share how I get this metrics, but there's a lot of ambiguity and uncertainty with the amount of following and unfollowing that is happening on their account, which means that could be a little bit of you know, a manipulation happening. I don't know, but the numbers don't lie. At the end of the day, there's thousands of people being unfollowed and followed, or of unfollowing on a daily basis. That's not a good organic look for following and you know, developing a community. Again, you know, that's what I see. That's the data. That's the data that I found, and I'm not going to show you this, share the source, because for privacy concerns. But ultimately, that's the data that I found. You can feel free to research that yourself. There's lots of ways to get that data yourself. Okay, so let's move on from that. The followers is good, but it doesn't seem too organic to me. Now, if we keep on moving on, we do see the fact that, you know, there's a lot of potential here. Okay, back to the main website. The website, just to wrap it up real quick, the main website is decent. Everything that you want to know about the project is fairly here. There's a lot of you know, information that could get you bullish, but there's also some things that need to be tied up. Now, you guys know that I do release an infographic for you guys when I do these deep dives. Here it is. Let's take a look at this as a quick wrap up. I'm going to post this on the socials so that you can use it as reference for future. Obviously, I'm also going to post this on the Discord, so feel free to join the Discord and all that kind of stuff. Let's jump right into the ecosystem. So there's a lot of there's NFTs. Its main premise began as an NFT, and then that's how you get access to the DAO and all of this. They got an in-game currency, they got a marketplace, and the DAO there's no formal implementation as of now. The DAO is completely governed and organized on their Discord, which in my opinion they need to level that up. So ecosystem is okay for a game, it's fine. I just feel like it needs a little bit more, and it's a young project. Let's just keep in mind its market cap. I'm going to just quickly go there. It's at a $13 million market cap. Okay, so it's very, very young, right? Just to confirm that right now, it's slightly above 13 million. So it's very, very young. Okay, guys, so we have to understand that the context matters here. And then if we continue going down, we got the utility. You mint in-game assets, market transactions and fees, rental fees for in-game assets, competition entry fees, and you can lock your tokens for rewards. This is a very typical utility, but then again, if we're going to be the reason why I'm a little bit docking a little bit is of the ambiguity. Number one, because of the DAO and the utility that it proclaims to have for the DAO, and in addition to that, I'm expecting some more utility based on ecosystem growth. So they kind of tie in together, but that's the nature of this game. Utility, ecosystem, all of that, and even roadmap, because where is this ecosystem going? Roadmap needs more detail. An update is needed, guys. I know I didn't get into it on the white paper. It is there, just to make it clear. It needs an update. I think it ends in 2024, and there's not much there and going forward. And even within, they've hit a lot of their milestones, but they need a quick update urgently, because the market is moving, and this is the moment where everything needs to be touched upon. It needs to be revamped or revisited or re-updated or whatever you got to do to keep it up to date. So the roadmap needs a little bit more. Where are they going with this? If you think about it, they got a lot of achieved quite a bit already. What's the next step? That's the thing here now, because they got a game, they got great marketing. You can see the website's awesome, the white paper's decent. It just needs a bit of an update. Their socials are cranking, whether it be organic or not. They still got the numbers, and hopefully they can get click-through rate based on what they got going on there. The Discord is there, it's well organized. I feel like it could be a little bit more engaging, but that's fine. Their Telegram is announcement only, which is unfortunate, because Telegram nowadays is big. So we got a little bit to talk about here, and we want to see where that roadmap is going to address some of those issues, and if it is, that's the thing. Now the team is fully doxed. Great, it's a young team, it's fully doxed, but I can see that it's very young. Some of I don't mean that by age, I mean that in their where they're at as a group, as a team. It seems very young. It seems like they're trying to come out of nowhere, which is great for smart and talented individuals to get their spotlight. And I think that the team has a lot of potential there. Okay, so we got to be really clear about the value of a young team, and what I mean is this project is young and the team is young, so we got a lot of opportunity there. The socials, as I mentioned, there's a lot of good followers. In the last 30 days, they've went down almost 12,000 followers. Okay, and they're still up. Okay, I know that sounds weird, because in the previous month they've been losing even more. This is a lot. This is a significant amount of followers all at once. Okay, guys. So this is not very, very organic type of numbers. 362 62 posts for the last 30 days. They're up. They're cranking posts, which are good. They're not getting much engagement, given almost 700,000 followers. Okay, so this is a bit concerning. Okay, so we need a little bit more engagement there, or is it the quality of the post, or is it what's the disconnect there? So I'm a bit concerned. The tokenomics has vesting schedule, which is necessary. Most unlocks begin in May 2025, which is also important that we have some leeway there in the next little while to see no dilution in price based on unlocks and sell-offs. Okay, this is good. Just know that in May, and maybe even May, we might be still cranking to the upside. But as soon as we see froth in that market, I expect a lot of people to take holders. Why? Take profits. Why? Because 50% of the tokens are allocated to early stakeholders, and those individuals, whatever percentage of those tokens they get, they they're likely to start taking profit, guys. So just understand that that's the way that works. It's not nothing against the Nyan community or the project itself. This is crypto in general. You look at the previous bear markets, altcoins fall 80-90%, and don't expect any other project not to do that. They will retrace. Okay, so, and especially new projects like this will just reaccumulate in the bear market at nice bottom prices once again, if we're still bullish. Relationships. They got a lot of good ones, okay? And ones that I focused on are the main strategic ones. They got Metaplex Studios. They got G2 Esports, which is an esports entertainment brand. They got GuildFi, a platform that connects games, NFTs, and communities. I feel like these are more strategic than all those other high-flying type of logos that they put on their website. I think what teams need to do nowadays is be very selective of the logos that they present, and maybe spend some time explaining the relationship, because it could actually be super bullish, rather than putting well-known logos that ultimately, you know, people like me are going to look at them and like, yeah, maybe not, you know, and move on. I've seen so many, you know, deep dives. I've done so many deep dives already, and you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Google partnerships, this and that, those have no value to me, because I know they're not real partnerships. They're, you know, either you're part of a launch pad or incubator program or some sort of, you know, thing like that. And for me, it's not a good look. But there are some good strategic relationships here for their size, because again, they're young and small, and they should be boasting those rather than those big VC logos. VC logos ultimately, and all those other big logos, are not that important to me, and they shouldn't be important to anybody else, because really they're not strategic partnerships. Anyway, exchanges, lots of good exchanges, mid-tier, I would say, if you classify Mexi, Bybit, Bitmart, and a few others. They got Dexes, Orcon, Radium, obviously as a Solana-based project. That's great. Some liquidity there, awesome, and more, obviously, but no major exchanges. So either you're going to take that as an opportunity or a drawback. The drawback is obviously not as much liquidity as you would want, right? Because obviously you're looking at mid-tier exchanges. However, listings, guys, the future. If we can get listed on Coinbase or you know, Binance, we're going to start to see this ranking go up to 10 out of 10, maybe, you know, and ultimately see a pump in price, obviously, and then there's no opportunity left for seeing pumps based on exchange listings. So either you're going to take this as a positive, an opportunity to basically fill a gap, a void that, you know, we need more exchanges, or you're going to look at it like, you know what happens when this thing pumps and I'm looking for exit liquidity? Am I going to be able to sell? Right, that's a big issue. Now, I see that Mexi, Bitmart, BitGet, all these, you know, as exit liquidity, and obviously Radium itself, the main DEX on Solana, is most likely going to be enough liquidity to take profit when you need to. Okay, so that's my take. Pretty good there, but both an opportunity and maybe not an opportunity. You make the judgment. It's important that you guys are empowered with that. Now, as far as liquidity goes, and obviously circulating supply, only 14.6% of the circulating supply is currently out there, which means, again, there's a long future for an IM. You know, this is new. It's very likely that we're going to see the majority of the pump in the next cycle. Why? Because really, there's going to be always that risk of dilution, right? There's always going to be that sell pressure until we see this vesting schedule kind of crank through, and we see the circulating supply reach more closer to the max supply, which is 1 billion units. Okay, so there's a lot. You know, trading volume is decent. In the last little while, it's been about 32% of the market cap, which means there's a lot of action on this project at the current moment. Maybe there's a bit of hype happening, which is great, but as a small market cap at $13 billion market cap and a fully diluted value of 88 million, guys, this thing is very, very small, and there's still that, you know, long stretch of time that we need to see this thing mature. It's either you want to get in now when it's still in speculation, or you're going to wait when it's mature and its market cap is already large. This is the question, right, guys? Diversification is key in my book, even via risk, meaning market cap. Gaming, it's part of the gaming narrative. Quick verdict here, quick rundown. Part of the gaming narrative. We're waiting for the gaming narrative to wake up here a little bit because it's been a bit stagnant. It's based on Solana, so it's a Solana-based project committed to making real-world impact by saving cats. Guys, I wanted to stick with this a little bit because it did donate $350,000, right? To and it's part of the Best Friends Animal Society, and it's a donation-based relationship. Okay, so this is good. It looks like they're going full circle with their promises, and it's not a scam or a scheme that we've seen in previous cycles based on all this, goodwill type of marketing. Okay, so I like that. I'm going to put that full front because I think we need a bit of peace of mind there. There's a mention of a DAO, but no official implementation. DAO role is Discord. On the Discord is the first step, perhaps questionable. I don't know, but the DAO needs a bit of work there. Emphasizes that the token is not a security. However, the DAO is not govern the organization. So the DAO's not governed, does not govern the organization, which if you look at what a DAO is, it's a decentralized autonomous organization, right? So how is this a DAO? I don't know, guys. The team needs to really clarify this and come out with better documentation on this DAO. I think that it's still in its infancy, and it's going to provide a lot of ambiguity there and risk. Maybe undue risk. The reality is maybe I'm over exaggerating here, but without proper communication, what do I know? Followers and unfollowers on X are aggressive. A sign of issues or manipulation. Again, I'm not gonna accuse them of anything. I'm just stating the numbers. I'm stating the fact is that the unfollowers on X are aggressive and the followers are aggressive. Why are people leaving and coming and going thousands at a time on a daily basis? I think it's a little bit too much, right? So you take that as you will. Telegram announcements only. I think that's a bit of an issue. The Telegram space is a degen space. It's a space where you build community. And obviously the Discord, for me, I'm a big believer that Discord communities are a lot more powerful because of the organization it provides, and it is well organized with some action, which is great. But maybe as a young project, they should have a little bit of a Telegram presence. You want to get engagement from every place you can, and I don't think Telegram should be ignored. It shouldn't be just an announcement only space. So now I go on to, I guess, where a lot of people want to chat about Nyan. What do I think about it for its price action? Guys, this is just a price projection. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you the future, but what I can tell you is if we're going to compare it to Carrot, which is part of the My Pet Hooligans ecosystem, the game itself, we're looking at least a 5x. I can see that happening. Now, I know with its market cap, a lot of you are going to say, what? That's a small market cap. It should do a lot more. Yes, it should. I can see it doing a lot more. But the only reference point that I have is this. Number one, it's competitive based pricing. We're looking at its competition. I can see this being very similar to Carrot or to the My Pet Hooligans game. Very similar. In fact, it's a little bit smaller as far as its ecosystem and its progress, but it's fine because we're still in speculative growth. Totally fine. Now its projection, I can see it maybe hitting a psychological level of $1, which would bring it to about a 10x, which is mostly in line with what we expect with micro caps and smaller cap projects to do. A 10x, maybe even more. The thing is that I want to be modest here, guys. And the reality is my ranking at a 7 out of 10, my rating at a 7 out of 10, just puts it all together in a package. There's some great things here, obviously, and the things that I kind of like zoned in on may be very small, and maybe they could be easily corrected or brought to light and brought that transparency that we kind of need. But overall, guys, we were waiting for the gaming narrative to wake up, and based on what I've seen here, it's a decent project that you might want to get a bit speculative with. Guys, let's get right into some of this price action because I know you're here to talk about charts as well. So let's do that. What's going on with the charts? Let's see what's going on here with this pullback. A nice pump and then a nice dump. But this is an opportunity, or are we now so fearful that we're not touching it? Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Now, usually I'm a big believer in not buying pumps, obviously. And there's some times where you got to say, either I'm going to get in and take a chance or I'm never going to get in. And usually that happens right up here, right? You start seeing things run, you see the emotions, you see the volatility, and at levels of where it's like breakouts could happen. You see nice rounded bottoms, all the, floor prices and all of that. But then guess what? Sometimes it comes back to the floor price. And this is what you see here with Nyan Heroes. Price is basically back to the point of control at about 8.9 cents, which is at a safe level to suggest support, right? Suggesting no guarantees here. But what we're doing is statistical probability is going to be your friend here. And you see that your risk to reward is fairly decent. I'm going to put some horizontals here to kind of outline the important zones that I'm keeping an eye on. And I can see that we're back into the structure, the main structure. Not a good look in the short term, right? And ultimately we're looking for this opportunity. This is a nice one, and so is this. I'm going to quickly put another horizontal right here, and I'm going to emphasize the importance of this level, this area, because of the lack of volume in the volume profile. Lack of volume is opportunity, guys. It's obviously a strength or a weakness depending on which direction you're going here in this market, but ultimately coming back to this level, allowing for the bulls to pick up some more bullish bids and potentially creating another higher low after making a higher high could be the opportunity. Now, I just want to zoom in a little bit more here and look at this price action, because you can see how much volume is here. Tons of volume, suggesting that ultimately, what are these goons doing? They are accumulating. We did get a sell-off, low volume sell-off. Volume is actually coming down as the price comes down. That's fine. That's the name of the game. But ultimately, on the way up, all throughout this level, when we started accumulating, we got some good volume to the upside. Now, coming down here, guys, risk to reward is good. And what I mean by that is that you're very close to your invalidation. Your invalidation is that thicker yellow line. If it falls below that thicker yellow line, guys, we're making a lower low big picture here on the daily, which is not a good look. That's not something that you want. However, if you start looking at, where would I put a stop loss or invalidate, let's put it right below the thick yellow line, and let's start being modest. Where do we expect the price to eventually go? Let's say hypothetically it goes back to previous highs. Okay, risk to reward right now is 2.5 to 1. It's a decent risk to reward, right? It's not bad. You're up approximately 68%, 69%, and then obviously the dip to endure, and if it falls below the thick yellow line, is down approximately 28%. That is significant dip. Obviously, if you're getting in with leverage, a 2x, a 3x could get you very close to liquidation. Let's put it that way. Now, if you bring it down a little bit, let's say if you're able to DCA and see the price just come down a little bit more, because you can see that the volume profile diminishes significantly below 7.7 cents, and ultimately that's the level of which the bulls are going to kind of want to come in and defend based on these bottoms. So I can see the price maybe falling a little bit more, given the fact that Bitcoin in the last little while showing a bit of weakness. We're seeing the others dominance fall and so on. We're seeing a little bit of weakness throughout the market, guys. So we could see Nyan Heroes come down a little bit more. However, this is definitely a DCA range, and all the way down to this level down here, it's a DCA range. This whole level should be a level that you are willing to accumulate in. DCAing is the best strategy at the moment, because ultimately you're not in this structure anymore. You're coming back down for a back test, and usually back tests do get bounces quite with a lot of strength. They get bounces, they get quick buy-ups, they get lots of emotion, and this is what it is, right? They usually don't hang out very, very long at levels, at these types of levels. However, we don't know how much liquidity can be hunted by these bears, how much strength they have in. Let's see if we can get some more data here. Now, if you start looking at the momentum oscillators that I got going on, guys, if you want to know more about these oscillators, I got links in the description. They are custom synergy signal indicators that have been working very, very well for me in the last little while, so feel free to check them out. But ultimately, what we are seeing is that the momentum, the purple line, is not oversold yet. Does it have to be? No. It doesn't have to be. But the risk you take getting long when the momentum line, the purple line, is right here at about 40%, is that it does come down below the 30. If it does, guys, we're coming down. It's going to come down pretty hard. Now, we've held support here before, and we can see that we hold the chop zone very often. We see the expansion coming down, pretty hot right here, as it has done in the past. Now, the question is, do we come down to oversold conditions? This is the question. Now, if we do come down there, my my biggest concern is that we will not have capital, or my concern is that we should have capital to buy the dips at lower levels, even if you decide to buy right now. So if you go back to the price action, it is very in tune with what I'm saying. Ultimately, you could buy right now, but if we get oversold, it's very likely to come and test the bottoms again. And in fact, at worst case scenario, you could even come down and basically hunt some stops, right? Stop hunts are very common. They're liquidity grabs. They come down, hunt liquidity, get back into the structure, back test and spring, and then we're off to the races. And these are trading moments. We're very close to a very important trading moment. Close enough that I would say, if you're bullish on the game, you're bullish on what we talked about today, DCA nice and slow, 30, 30, 40. Those are good numbers. 30% here, 30% right around here, 7.5 cents, and then 40% at the bottom, and you have your invalidation down below. If it breaks below, you have some critical decision making to be done, right? We'll talk about that in a second. EMA is facing down, red histogram bars, expansion is full force to the downside. I'm not really feeling this on the daily yet. And as I mentioned, if the price does come down below the low here, and we start looking at, the worst case scenario where we get to a level of invalidation, we could see the price potentially fall below. And then when we get down here, we have critical decisions. We can wait to see what happens on the back test. The back test over here and a rejection, get out. If it gets rejected, get out. It's likely we're going to continue coming down. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't think so. However, I don't know so. And ultimately, we need to be prepared for that. The other best case scenario, if we do come down below, is that we actually fall and we get back into the structure, back test, and then spring. This is called a swing failure pattern, and also a bump and run scenario, where you're basically getting back into the structure, failed breakdown, no structure, no continuation, nothing like that, and we just hunt the liquidity, and then we get back in, we confirm it, a previous support levels of support once again, and then we spring and make a higher high and start going for higher highs and higher lows to much higher levels. And this is a trading moment. This is where you got to make some decisions. You're not buying tops, you're buying retracements. And if we do a Fibonacci retracement right now, you're going to see that you're looking at least, I would say 786, maybe even as low as an 886. Swing low to swing high, you're looking at a 886 retracement as we speak. Look at that, very close, right in between the 78 and the 886. Decent level to accumulate at the point of control, at a huge cluster of supply and demand that could act as support. This is the time where you want to take risk all into this level. So what I'm going to do here is just put in a yellow box, and we'll revisit this chart in a couple of days to see how we go. But really, this is the moment. This is one moment, and I'm going to make it yellow so you guys know my language. Yellow box means DCA, guys, prepare, because if we do get a bounce anywhere around the zone, you will regret not having some capital deployed. Even today, it's not that bad if you think about it. Now, of course, all of us are concerned about Bitcoin. Does Bitcoin come down to 87K? Prepare some capital just in case that happens, guys, because DCAing at lower levels is the way you're going to be buying the dip. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this deep dive video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. Guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. EST talking about crypto news and price action. If you want to follow me on those socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.